Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and tonight we're going to be taking a look at Scourge of War Gettysburg, specifically the Scourge of War Antietam DLC pack for this game, which allows you to play scenarios in the Battle of Antietam in a real-time tactical game. And the Antietam scenario that we're going to be looking at is looking at the entire battle, or at least the majority of the battle, from the Union perspective up till around midday. So not the whole Battle of Antietam, but Antietam from around 5:45 until just before noon, and putting you in charge of the entire Union Army. Now, Scourge of War originally came out, I think it was back in 2013, so it is a little bit of an older game. It does rely on 2D sprite graphics, so those of you used to Total War type graphics, you won't quite get that here, but what you will get is a massive sense of scale that I don't think any other game has ever come close to, with maybe the exception of the Los Grognard game, I think. What's it called? It's a Napoleonic 3D game. But other than that, you know, there really aren't any other games that have come close to matching Scourge of War's scale, and you'll see it in just a moment. Now, I have played the full battle scenario from the Confederate perspective, which is 11 hours long, starting at 5:45 a.m. until the conclusion of the battle. And that puts you in the shoes of Robert E. Lee, commanding the whole Confederate Army. But today, I did want to try and play the attacking side, so we'll be playing as the Union on September 17th. We'll have about 6 hours to play. We won't be doing it all tonight, so we will break this up. And we'll give it a shot. We'll see if we can break Lee's army after the near disaster for Lee at South Mountain, or if Lee's able to hold us off. Now, this is one of, I think it was 4 DLC packs: Antietam, Brandy Station, Chancellorsville, and Pipe Creek. In addition to Gettysburg itself, that's 5 battles that this game covers. It's made by Norbsoft Dev, which is the developer that was one of the 2 individuals behind the Take Command games. It is published by Matrix and Slitherine games, and they have a newer game out looking at the Battle of Waterloo as well, which yours truly played a part in. I played no part at all in the Battle of Antietam. I was not involved in any way, but I did play a role, a very minor role, in helping some of the testing work on Scourge of War Waterloo. So full disclosure there. With that being said, we're going to come into the game now, so let's go ahead and launch the scenario. The bloodiest day Union Army. You can see here, Lee's Confederate Army is split. His back is split, and his back is to the Potomac River. So he's just taken Harper's Ferry and 12,000 Union troops there, and the bloodiest day is about to occur. You can see to win a major victory, we need 18,000 victory points. To win a minor victory, we need 1,350. A draw is 9,000. A minor defeat is 4,500, and a major defeat is anything less than that. You can see our total army strength by the end of the battle will be 78,717 men. You can see here that the 1st Corps is under General Joseph Hooker, and you get a mammoth order of battle here. You can scroll down literally through every unit in the army, and you can actually go down to the Confederate order of battle as well. I'm not sure. Yeah, Confederate forces, Robert E. Lee, total strength 37, 422. So they're outnumbered a little bit over 2 to 1. You can see here it provides all the same amount of information. For the infantry units, it has a number next to the unit which represents how many men. And for the artillery batteries, it gives a breakdown of each individual gun. And holy crap, there's a lot of information here. I think you also get a brief bio of the commanding general. Let's take a look. Yes, you do. General Mcclellan, so that's our commander. I do want to call out, while this is a full army scenario, this game, in my opinion, and all the Scourge of War games, in my opinion, really thrive at the divisional or at the brigade level, where you take on the role of a lower level commander. So you're either commanding a brigade or a division in the midst of a much larger fight. So you have AI units moving around you, you receive orders via courier, and you have to achieve various objectives through different scenarios. The Army Command, frankly, the game, in my opinion, isn't as well suited to it, but the scale you get is certainly amazing and is one of a kind, in my opinion. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump in and launch the scenario here. I did a look at the 11-hour scenario for Wargamer.com several years back. I think it was for the 150th anniversary, and that was chopped up into 9 or 10 parts, which are still available over on Wargamer.com's YouTube channel. I don't think they use that channel anymore, but the videos are still there. I should really reach out to them and see if they'd be willing to allow me to repost on my channel. The main issue is that I had a really crappy mic at the time, so the sound is terrible. All right, here you go. So we are Major General George B. Mcclellan. This is how every scenario in Scourge of War starts off. You see your character on the map right here. You can die, by the way, but this is General George B. Mcclellan and one of his staff. Obviously not the whole staff riders. You can see here, if we swing around here, there's a bridge behind, or a building behind him, which I believe is historically his headquarters. And we can zoom out here. We can see it's very dark right now. And that's because it's 5:45 in the morning and the sun has not yet risen. We can go ahead and see a bunch of options down here on the bottom of the screen. There's also some other orders over here to the right. But if we take a look here at, well, order of battle will just give us all of the troops under our command. I don't know if I can click on that with the game paused. Yeah, it doesn't look like I can. But you can see here all the different corps that are under our command. There are 7 of them, including cavalry division or corps, so 6 infantry corps, 1 cavalry division. We have the 1st Corps, the 12th Corps, the 9th Corps, the 2nd Corps, the 5th Corps, and the 6th Corps. The 1st Corps is under General Hooker. That's the corps that historically launched the first attack on the Confederate flank near the cornfield and Dunker Church. Mansfield Corps will come in and support that. So we start off with 18,000 men on the map. The rest of these corps will become available as they historically were. If we go here, click Go to Me, just brings us back to our character. You can get a courier message here, so there's sort of an overview from General Hooker. It's almost time to attack. The Union is ordered. General Mansfield's been notified and is already near for support. Strongly urge the release of Sumner's Corps, the 2nd Corps, as soon as possible. The enemy's positioned on strong defensive terrain. So you kind of get this courier pop up here. In addition to that, we can click on the map, which is one of the more useful features. This is the topographical map of the Sharpsburg area where the Battle of Antietam was fought. You can see here all of these units over here are all of the Union troops that are currently on the map. There's a few over here to the east of the Antietam Creek right here, but a lot more troops will show up here. Sumner's Corps will show up over here, and then Burnside's 9th Corps will be down here south of the town. Burnside's Bridge is in this general vicinity, and then there's a ford over here as well. But right now we've got the 11th Corps over here under Mansfield, or is it the 12th Corps? I have to go back and double check. And then we've got the 1st Corps over here under Hooker that are currently available. All these stars represent the different objectives. So you've got the Cornfield, you've got the East Woods, you've got the West Woods, Dunker Church, Bloody Lane. Additional objectives will pop up as the battle goes on. And then you've got General Hooker over here, who is the commander of the 1st Corps, the troops that are going to be launching the first attack. So you can see here, this is General Hooker. He is an AI commander. So one of the things you need to think about, and one of the reasons that I struggle playing this game as well on the army level, is the fact that Hooker is a character in this game and will do as he sees fit. So he will issue orders, tell his troops to go places. He will order his divisions around. His division commanders will do the same. And so it does make sometimes getting what you want to happen somewhat challenging. You can take control of Hooker, which basically turns the AI off and allows you to command him directly. Although, in general, the game gets a little bit unwieldy if you do that for everybody. Let's go ahead and pause the game here, and then let's just kind of navigate forward here. We'll move across the countryside here in Maryland. You can see we've got a whole bunch of artillery batteries here limbered up and ready to go. We've got some infantry over here, some additional artillery over here, and these infantry units kind of keep stacking up. Again, you can get a sense of the scale of this game. This is the cornfield, the famous Miller cornfield, the 40-acre cornfield where so many young men would die in the back-and-forth fighting on September 17th of 1862. We've got several brigades of infantry here lined up ready to assault with artillery, ready to provide supporting fire. And the sun is starting to come up. You can see it's getting a little bit lighter. Additionally, I think if I swing over this way, and I don't have to move this slow way, I can click on the map as well. But it's kind of hard to follow at the moment. So let's Hit pause. Let's go to map. And you can see there's the Nicodemus Heights are over in this general vicinity with Confederate batteries that'll likely be firing into our flanks as well. But that being said, let's go ahead and start ordering some troops around to attack. So you can see here we're about 1:50 into the battle, but nothing's happening yet. So we've got General Duray's troops, 950, the 1st Brigade. These guys are kind of protecting the flank in the event that the Confederates come off Nicodemus Heights and threaten us. We've got the Black Hat Brigade, so this is the famous Iron Brigade under General John Gibbon. 4 regiments here. In addition to that, we also have some troops under Colonel Walter Phillips, another brigade. This one only about 450 men, a pretty small brigade. And multiple lines of troops all over the field here. So I'm going to take a more direct hand in the initial assaults. Things will probably require me to sort of delegate as time goes on. But first off, I'm going to go ahead and turn these trees off so I can get a better view of all the units in play over here. So just so we can, obviously this is a little bit ahistorical. There's also a setting where you can lock your camera view to your saddle so you can only see what your character would have seen in a real battlefield environment. But we're not going to do that tonight. So the Miller cornfields over here. These are the East Woods. Let's go ahead and move these troops forward. Can't do all, we're paused. So let's go ahead and move these guys forward. We're going to take charge Seymour's brigade from the AI so he won't countermand us. And then we're going to go ahead and move our troops into line just at the edge of the woods. So you can see the woods goes out to about here. So we'll take the troops just to the edge of the woods. You'll see they start maneuvering right away, switching into column formation and maneuvering to that position. In addition to that, we're going to bring Colonel William Christian's brigade up to support. And he will go here in the rear of Seymour and deploy in the general vicinity. We'll also take charge from the AI from him. So we've got 2 brigades moving forward just like that, crisply and smoothly. All right, so time to issue some additional orders. General Hartwell is the 3rd Brigade commander here. Move him forward. He will kind of be a linchpin, if you will. We're going to take charge from him. We're going to go ahead and move him over as well. But all these troops are moving into this wooded area. We'll move these guys toward the edge of the cornfield over here. I want to get as many of my troops into position as possible. Gibbon forward with his brigade. Iron Brigade. They're going to start extending off to the right here. There's some woods over here, and I think there's some rebel troops in this wood line over here. But we're going to try and extend our position. Meanwhile, we're going to move Phillips' brigade forward as kind of a reserve behind Gibbon. And again, you can see why it's important to delegate things to the AI in this game, because things will quickly get out of hand with all of these troops at your disposal. Alright, so actually these guys under Anderson over here, these 750 men, I'm going to face them off this way, because I may need to send them toward the Nicodemus Heights to hopefully push back some of those batteries over there. We've also got some troops already pointed in that direction. They appear to be under General Edgel? Not sure if I'm even taking command of all these troops. So, the artillery battery commander. These 2 brigades. Patrick Arcia's brigade. We're basically going to move a division over to the Nicodemus Heights to secure our flank. Move a battery of artillery over here to support that attack. The artillery I'm going to leave off. Like, I'm not going to directly control them. General Meade, 3rd Division. Alright, so let's get this artillery moving. so those 3 batteries. Additionally, your troops can run out of ammunition. Those are things you've got to manage, so you do have ammunition wagons. The enemy can also capture your ammunition wagons. Move a second battery to assist on the assault on Nicodemus Heights. I'm wondering if these guys unlimbered the guns. Yeah, shoot. So, apparently I ordered these guns unlimbered before I started moving them. That's probably going to wear them out. Alright, so we're moving all of these troops into position. You can see here we've started to spot Confederate troops to our front. Actually, we've engaged some of them. So these troops over here, the 13th Pennsylvania Bucktails, have engaged the enemy. They've inflicted 12 casualties, which is their 12 points. They have lost no casualties so far. They have Sharps rifles, so they actually have 140-yard range. The rest of the troops, all outside of the sharpshooters, have only 160 yards range. So the Sharps is a bit of an advantage. It also has a much quicker reload time. So Christian is coming into position over here. The Confederates may try and flank. So we're actually going to go ahead and move him over here. You can see he's actually on an objective tile. So he's gaining points. Those points we said that we need to win the battle. He gains points as long as he's within a certain vicinity of this objective and whatnot. Right. Extend the line there. I think the Confederates are coming in to try and flank Seymour's brigade here. Got several regiments moving in here toward the right flank of the troops, and we've got additional troops here moving through the cornfields. Now, I will say this is a 5-year-old game. Or I think 5 years old now. The frame rates, when you have this much going on, do tend to get a little bit wonky. It's not a smooth 60 frame rate per second game, but that's just because of the sheer volume of things going on. Sure, the game could be more efficient in a performance perspective, but when you've got all these textures and things like that that you're trying to manage, things are a little bit more challenging in that regard. So all those things are moving forward. Obviously, you can see the frames. It's much smoother when you have all the terrain turned off. But there's something nice and sweet about being able to see the terrain in this game. You know, it's nice to see your troops moving through a cornfield. All right, so the Confederates do have some artillery over here on our right flank that Colonel Robert Anderson is going to be moving toward. All right, so this is Nicodemus Heights over here. I just know that because of my knowledge of the battlefield. You can see all this artillery and cavalry up here on these heights. This is kind of a strategic position for the Confederates because they've got all this artillery up here, and this area is higher than the rest of the ground, so they can actually fire bowling ball style into our flanks. I'm trying to coordinate one massive smashing assault on the flank. Kind of gone in a little bit early in the woods. But it does look like they pushed this brigade back. So the 3rd North Carolina was driven back by all appearances here. Mostly by the 13th Pennsylvania. Those Sharps rifles came in handy. 400-yard range is definitely useful in this game. Especially if the enemy can't shoot back and you can shoot at them, you're going to have success. So you can see here more Confederate troops have been spotted in the open here. Quite a strong battle line over there. Got to really be careful about our flank. I'm trying to build up a double line. Let's take a look at the map here. We've got all of these troops over here. Mansfield's Corps. Wonder if I can charge. All right, these guys are retreating back that way. I can. Alright, let's form the division up. Move this division here, General Williams' division. Take command of Williams himself. We're going to form the division up in a double line. We're here off to the left to extend the line to the west of the woods. So he's off over in this general vicinity. So we're getting Williams' division moving over here from Mansfield's corps. We're also going to take command of General Greene's division of Mansfield's corps. Move over here. I think I'm going to move Greene. I really worry about that right flank of ours. Let's move Greene over here, and I believe the troops will automatically use the roads, if applicable. So we'll move him over here. So we're really going to double up the force behind this attack. Meanwhile, Mansfield himself... move into position. And... that's got his division moving. Doesn't really have the artillery moving, though. Does it? It does look like the artillery is moving. I'm not sure if the artillery is attached directly to the divisions or not. It does look like it's 2nd Division, so I'm assuming by moving those divisions, we'll be moving the whole force. Got some other guns on the other side of the Antietam Creek over here. That's fine. Those aren't ready to be used yet. Looks like these guys are marching cross lots. I preferred them to use the roads, which is an order you can do. Can we give that order for the whole command? Can. We'll order those divisions all to use the roads. So that should get them there a little bit more efficiently, rather than marching across across fields. So they're going to take a little while to get there. Williams. Oh no, these are where his orders are to go. So it shows us a little bit more. See here, a lot of troops are coming up on display on the map. See a lot of troops engaged and firing. You guys must have troops also. Do. We'll advance those guys on the flank. Advance this large brigade. Looks like the rebels are moving forward a little bit on our flank over here. See here a bunch of couriers all moving around. Brigades are just sitting there taking artillery fire. Why don't you advance? There. The brigade up here, didn't I? The artillery I've kind of given free rein. I haven't taken command of the artillery. You can see here it's a little bit of a chaotic situation when viewed from 10,000 feet. If we view it closer to the ground, things are a little bit more traditional looking here. You can see these troops are buried in the cornfield itself, firing at the enemy. You can see a lot of troops maneuvering around. The Confederate position is on higher ground, and you can tell that as you get down toward the ground. You can also hear the sounds of battle are pretty distinct as we get closer in. As we move through the woods, you can see these troops are engaged as well. Not all the regiments are as effectively being used as they could be. But there you go. Evil, thanks for the bits, by the way. I see the 100 bits that you just sent me. I do appreciate it. I've got the alerts off, mainly because I'm going to be chopping this up and posting this on YouTube. It's be a little bit distracting sometimes to have those alerts come down, but I did see the bits, so I do appreciate that quite a bit. Thanks for the support. All right, so you can see these troops moving through the woods. They're being engaged. It looks like this Union brigade or regiment is... Ooh, boy. looks like a bad situation. They've got their backs to the... They're shooting into the rear of these retreating Confederates, but they also have their backs exposed to multiple regiments, so I think I'd give them an about-face order. No, what are you doing? That about-face order didn't quite work as I intended. Anyway. Alright, so you also see that not all the troops that are really close in are firing. So this unit, for example, has a red fire marker there, which basically means their line of sight is blocked by friendly troops. You can't shoot through friendly troops. And so that's something you've got to work through. Okay, so these guys are moving out here. Kind of at the double quick. I'd rather they actually just halt. Some of these troops are moving and maneuvering on their own without my orders, because while I have taken command of the... Did I take command of you, dude? I thought I took command of you. But while you do take command of the individual regiment, or at the brigade level, I haven't taken command of individual regiments. And so that means that troops are free to turn and face and adjust their location as necessary to deal with enemy threats. You can see we drove back another Confederate regiment here. It's retreating. These guys are trying to rally here in this open field. I think I'm actually going to send a regiment over there to try and brush them off and move them along. You can see Mansfield's troops are off in the distance here, but you can see some of the flags as they're kind of approaching the battlefield. So they're still a little ways away. We've been at this fight for about 15 minutes. This ammo truck has used some of its ammo. It started off at 999,000 rounds of ammunition. It's moved through some of these units, replenishing ammunition as it goes. You can see there is an ammo counter down here in the lower corner of the screen that does tell you how many rounds of ammunition your soldiers have. So it does kind of require you to pull troops out or readjust troops accordingly in order to make sure that they're able to keep the fight up. Where are these guys shooting at? These guys have sharps as well. I'd rather they advance over here. And then we're going to move these guys that are currently in the cornfield over here to guard the flank against this flanking regiment, which is hitting the 7th Wisconsin, the first, or I guess the 4th Black Hat Brigade, the 4th Brigade of the 1st Division of the 1st Corps. 7th Wisconsin's on the flank, 2nd is in the middle, 19th is in the center, and the 6th is on the left flank. So one of the best brigades in the entire army, although it looks like they are only our volunteer status at the moment. So, in addition to that, I'm going to go ahead and pour some of these reserves forward. We're actually going to move them into double line. It's a bit of a narrow front where they can help. I'm actually going to go ahead and move this guy forward directly on my own. These 2 regiments. Did I just see someone surrender? Anyway, these guys are moving in on the flank. Let's actually go ahead and halt them. They're going to have a really good field of fire in on these Confederates, so I guess they're going to readjust their lines here. But their flank should still be kind of in the air for the 105th New York. Also, you got to be careful with your officers. They have a tendency to get too far in front, and they can be killed. So a good thing we did extend our line through the West Woods the way we did. We're kind of flanking all the Confederates that are coming forward on us. You can see another full division of Confederate troops in here is marching toward us. J Street, thanks for the bits. Indeed, this is the anniversary of the Battle of Antietam, although it's going to be not the anniversary very long. The clock shall strike midnight before too long. You can see, in addition to ammunition, you get other information about the troops over here. So you get their weapon. In this case, the 7th Wisconsin is firing the 1854 Lorenz Austrian-made rifled musket, which is kind of the equivalent of the Austro-Hungarian Empire's equivalent of the Enfield or the American Springfield. You get their current morale status. You get their current fatigue status, which determines whether troops run or retreat or hold. You have sort of different modifiers to all of these icons, so support bonus because they've got troops on their flanks and in rear. Visible to enemy means they can be sighted. If you get sort of defensive terrain bonuses can be in there as well. Troops that are not presently engaged get a unit resting icon, which means essentially that they're not taking damage and they can recover morale or fatigue and those kind of things. So Gibbon's brigade is hanging in there. They're actually giving more than they're getting. They lost 128 casualties, which is quite a bit. But they've inflicted more damage on the enemy than they're receiving. They'll have to be relieved at some point in the not-too-distant future. As you can tell, this game is played out in a real-time basis, 1 minute equaling 1 minute, 1 second equaling 1 second. I'm trying to drive the Confederate artillery back here off the flanks. I'm not probably paying enough attention to these guys. I probably should change these brigades over to AI-controlled. But essentially, I'm trying to take these heights. Now, in Scourge of War, or sorry, in Sid Meier's Antietam or Gettysburg, or Antietam, sorry, these would have been objectives for the Union Army, Nicodemia's Heights, and in some of the battles it is. In the Grand Battle it isn't. Anyway, you can see here I'm trying to drive back Confederate batteries that could otherwise threaten our flank. I could actually give a charge order. I think. Don't see it. There is a charge order somewhere in here. Oh, there it is. Which would cause us to charge. The battery's already routing, though. Or at least they're trying to move. They're limbering up. Not using our artillery very effectively, though. Well, actually, our guns are firing. So they are engaged. Alright, Marsa's brigade is coming up, so we're going to go ahead and send them in to be reserved for the Black Hat Brigade when they eventually get pushed back. Artillery is firing mostly at range here. You can see they are scoring some casualties, not a ton. Alright folks, that's going to do it for this first part of our look at Scourge of War Antietam, the 6-hour Union scenario where you're playing as General Mcclellan and have command of the entire Union Army. Thus far, we've gotten our troops into position to start the attack by the 1st Corps on the Confederate flank, near the Miller Cornfield, Dunker Church, that sort of area. And in our next episode, we'll take a look as we begin the assault and hopefully, or continue the assault rather, and hopefully break through the Confederate lines. This was taken from a live stream from a few days ago. I did link to my Twitch channel in the chat if that's something that you'd like to be able to catch. I tend to stream around 10 o'clock at night. Yeah, let's go ahead and end this one here. I hope you guys are enjoying this video. My intent is going to sort of change as we move on. So this is a long scenario. It's 6 hours long. The first probably 2 episodes or so, I think I'll be talking a lot about tactics and me playing the game, so in this episode and probably the next episode. I do want to have a couple of episodes where I talk about the history of the Battle of Antietam. I'm actually reading Stephen W. Sears' book on the battle, was it something, A Landscape Turned Red, which is one of the most well-respected books on the Battle of Antietam. So I want to talk about that a little bit, but I figure that'll be more for once we kind of get into the grind and the meat grinder of the battle and the detailed tactics are gone and it's just an attempt to push the enemy back as I kind of foresee the battle becoming. Then we'll start doing that. But the first 2 episodes, there's going to be more tactical deployments, units coming online, a little bit more action, I think. So for those 2, we'll probably stick to the gameplay commentary straight from the live stream. Anyway, guys, let me know if you enjoyed this video and if you'd like to see more. And until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.